Test, test, test. Test. Test, test. Oops.
Do you know who asked Paul to write up the changes of the final plat, make amendments to that for the mailboxes?
Bill.
Bill did?
Yeah, I believe I went through a bunch of old emails today.
Yeah.
I tried to. I have some of them up on his computer. It sounds like, I'm just gonna make sure, hold on. So Jeff, Lee,
Yeah.
and Bill had a couple of emails back and forth before Bill left. And Jeff's comment was, as you can see, the post office did approve the current locations with underneath his previous emails back October 26th, I think it was, the date, said that the post office said we're good to go. The thing was, though, what I don't understand is that looked like it was a message to the Viridian that at Angie, and I was like, why were they involved in it at that point already? So what I was doing,
Bill, I don't understand how they would write that up without getting approval to the board ahead of time.
yeah,
That's a final plat adjustment, which we did. Why would they come to the board first?
right.
I thought maybe Viridian went to Paul. Because I met with the postmaster today.
Oh, you did?
I sure did.
I put a thing together for us to talk
Okay.
to see if you wanted to meet with Jeff first, and because I wanted to clear up those emails.
Yeah, you and I and Jeff need to sit down, but we need to have a plat map.
Okay.
Because the postmaster's view is totally different than what Chris told me.
Okay.
They didn't recommend lot one. They said Viridian told them that it was lot one and the village wants to make it to 19. They don't want it in lot one. You know why? Because the person who's delivering mail to that neighborhood has everything west, Hill Point and west. They don't have any routes inside the village.
Oh.
So they wanted to come in on that way, deliver the mail, get back out and go out for P.
Oh, so we don't really.
They want them on the east end. Now, what they told me, they were recommending to Viridian that they the plan. Okay. I'm calling the Plan Commission for February 7th, 2022 to order. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Brittany Garcia.
Here.
Commissioner Cameron Bjorklund.
Here.
Commissioner Seth Johnson.
Here.
Trustee Judy Kettlebeater.
Here.
Trustee Bill Brocious.
Here.
President Langfeld.
Here. Stand for a pledge of allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We're at public. This is an opportunity for anyone to address the Plan Commission on any issue. Please observe the time limit of 3 minutes while the Plan Commission encourages input from residents. It may not discuss or act on any issue that is not duly noticed on the agenda. Do we have anybody?
I do not.
All righty. We will go to general business. Number 1, approval of the minutes from the January 4th, 2022 Plan Commission meeting. Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve the minutes.
Do I have a second?
A second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say. So moved. Item number 2, regarding the official map of the Village of Cross Plains. Do I have a motion to go into public hearing?
I'll make a motion to go into public hearing.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All right, any discussion? All in favor, say aye. All opposed, say. We are in public hearing. Is there anybody that would like to speak out on the internet?
I do not have anybody. If anybody would like to speak on this topic, please raise your hand via Zoom.
All right, I do not see anybody here present. Do I have a motion to close the public hearing?
I'll make the motion to close the public hearing.
Do I have a second?
I second.
All right, I have a motion and a second. Any discussion on closing the public hearing? All right, all in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, same. So moved. We're into letter B, discussion and possible action. I think if we could, I think the important thing is pulling up the map. Are there any comments that anybody would like to make on the map? This was, I think we discussed that the last meeting, right? Anybody have anything here?
And Bill did take out the part that went through the property.
Yep. The only thing I would am recommending the lavender star it has in the key. It's a potential future other park facility. I think it should say potential future public facility. That's the only thing so I see the road's been moved, the coloring's been changed. So I think you captured what was brought up last time. Bill.
I think we also want to make sure that we try and follow the 10-year park and the parks plan as well. So as long as that doesn't affect that, making the public versus park, I'm fine with that.
Yeah, I think what this needs to do, and Sonia help me, we should be reviewing this every year, right?
Yes, for updates on
Yeah.
constructed and consistency with those types of documents.
Because I'm with you, Bill. I mean, things are going to be changing, and we need to change this as we change those. So this is more on what it looks like right now, the snapshot.
Okay.
Because I think at some point we're going to need to, because there's potential where we'll have property that's going to be village property that'll be future development, and somehow we'll have to capture that out here.
Understood.
Anything else? So do I have a motion to accept the official Village of Cross Plains map?
I'll make a motion to approve. How about we approve the official Cross Plains map? You want to accept it or approve it?
Like, I guess.
Is it good for
Yeah, it's out of
does.
the village
It does.
board. So we're recommending that the
Accept
board
it for recommendation to the village board.
to accept the official map of the village.
Recommend that we move it up to the village.
All right, do I have a second? All right, any discussion?
Is there like a time limit we should put on it? Just because we haven't updated this in what, over a decade?
Yeah, a long
So
time.
is there any way we can amend the motion or something to say that we approve it for 2 years, or 3 years, or a year or something, just to kind of force us to revisit it, or?
We cannot amend them.
Okay.
No, but can I just, you're gonna explain the process?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So the motion's made, motion's on the table.
Mhm.
So if someone wants to make a change to it, then they would make a motion to make a change to the current motion that's on the table.
That's okay.
Then we get a first and a second, discussion, then we vote on it, if it passes, great, then that becomes part of
Okay,
old motion.
okay.
Make sense?
And to answer, I think it's better to have it in a policy than to have it into the official map. I think that's a better way of handling that. Because we may in 6 months want to bring this back and not wait 2 years.
Right, yeah,
Right.
I meant like a maximum.
Yeah, I think that would be much better to have in a policy. Or I could even live with it in an ordinance that we have to do it every year or every 2 years. I think that would be better than to put it in. I think we should try to keep this as clean as possible. That would be just my suggestion.
Okay, that's fine with me, I guess. Is how do we do the policy, as long as we do that? Or
Yep.
politics, I don't know.
I think that is something, do we have an ordinance related to that actually talks about the official map?
Yes, there should.
So we should take a look at what that ordinance says, and then that would be the thing to do is amend that ordinance.
Okay.
All right, we'll look into that.
Yep.
All right, any other discussion? All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same. So moved.
Hold on one second. So we had we had a motion from Bill.
Yep.
And who seconded that?
Seconded.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
All right, number 3, regarding a zoning code amendment to section 84.65 sub C, sub 4, sub A and B regarding garage with ratios. We'll go into public hearing first. Do I have a motion to open up a public hearing? All right, do I have a second?
Second.
Do I have a motion and a second to open up a public hearing? Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, same. Okay, public hearing is open. I see no one in the room here. Is there anybody on the internet that would like to speak at this public hearing?
If anyone would like to speak on the public hearing, please raise your hand via Zoom
Pertaining to garage with.
pertaining to garage widths.
All right, not hearing anything. Do I have a motion to close the public hearing?
Make a motion to close the public hearing.
Do I have a second? All right, I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, same. All right, let's go into B, discussion and possible action. Sonia, do you want to just give an overview for everybody?
We discussed this at recent plan commission meetings, so I'll just give a quick overview. The memo contains a lot of the same information that we reviewed last time. Again, it's in relation to the policy of how wide your garage can be proportionate to the width of the house. Current policy limits that at a max of 40%. So when we discussed this as a plan commission, the consensus was to keep the general policy. You agreed we wanted to continue regulating that garage width, but revise it to address a couple of concerns. And those concerns were to make sure that a 3-car garage was feasible on the lots that allowed for that width, and then also to make sure that the lots that were shorter in width in our smaller zoning districts could still accommodate a 2-car garage that's feasible in the marketplace. So the recommended direction from the plan commission was to increase the maximum width from 40% to 50%, to keep the 10-foot offset between the garage and the house, so the garage can be no further than 10 feet in front. And then finally, we discussed striking the maximum width of 36 feet. So that's what's reflected in the ordinance and the red line changes here. And then the memo provides 2 examples. With the biggest zoning district, you can see the new ordinance would allow for, I wanted to point this out, a maximum width of 50 foot for a garage. So we did talk about that a little bit. That seems like a pretty wide garage, but also understood that in most cases, people wouldn't build one that large. And then, so that's on the big end. And then on the smaller end, that single family residential 5, the ordinance would change from allowing a maximum 18 foot wide to up to 23 under the new ordinance. So definitely allows for a more acceptable 2-car garage in the market today. So I can address any questions. Otherwise, the red line changes there are very simple, just reflecting that conversation.
So does anybody have any questions, comments for Sonia? Okay, Seth?
A couple. For, corner lot where the garage is on the side and or, a normal lot where there's a side entrance garage, is this gonna cause any problems? So if a corner lot where it's a duplex or single family. I've been looking just kind of a street view of a lot of our houses. Even with this improvement, I see a lot of them are gonna be non-conforming existing. And so I didn't know if we needed to have anything special to corner lots, because then I assume the width would be based on whatever side is facing, whatever side the garage is on. That's the facade. That's kind of the side of the house. No one's gonna meet that, so that's gonna be out of depth of the
I
house.
think the language is okay for us there, so let me just double check because it says 50% of the width of the ground floor facade facing the street.
I assume it's this, whatever side then faces the street of the garage.
Correct.
How I have to interpret it.
Well, I think it's where they're addressed.
Oh.
Because if you're looking on a corner and it's the side, you may just have the garage there, so that's gonna be 100%.
Right. And we have a lot
Right.
of existing houses.
Yeah, right.
Like
So
that, or very close. to
it's
that.
gotta be the side that the address is at. Otherwise, you'll never get a garage on the side.
And then my second question is, related to all this, how does this impact existing housing? You know, would it become a legal non-conforming, and then, God forbid, something happens, their house is destroyed and they want to rebuild, could they not build the same thing that they basically had then?
So it would create legal non-conforming situations, and that's fairly common anytime a code is updated, you have to deal with those types of situations. So those existing conditions could continue, won't do anything about it. If they are torn down, you would be allowed to rebuild in the same footprint. You just wouldn't be able to increase the non.
And Seth, you're absolutely right, because we have a lot of homes that are not meeting this right now at the 40%. So I think by going 50%, you actually bring in more people.
Right, they're reducing it, but I'm just saying,
Yeah.
even with that, they're still gonna.
Yeah, if you look at a lot of the 3-car garages, and I have to, this is all this started. I measured my garage, you know, mine's a 2-car garage, 23.5 feet. My stoop is 41, so I'm at 36%. So it meets it, but the ones when I went in the newer neighborhoods where they have 3-car garages, you gotta believe those are at least 12 feet wide. So they're up around already probably 35 feet, right? If you know, mine's a standard too. I know we have whole neighborhoods that are not in compliance with it, and that's kind of what brought this up. They dealt with it a very strange way by putting it in the covenants, which is interesting. But my take on this is for sure to be equitable. I think we need to allow the 50% at least at the SR5, SR4 probably. You know, after that, you know, I think it's simpler to have it a basic across the board. It's easier to do the enforcement part of it and the viewing of it instead of all different. So I'm kind of in favor of this, but you're right. When you get to a bigger house, it could be larger. But even so, if you think about it, if they do a 50-foot garage, that means they're spread across the front is 100 feet. That's pretty big. That's a big house. Bill.
So how does this get enforced? I mean, if we have a lot of uncompliance with brand new homes, how are we missing that enforcement? Or where are we missing that enforcement?
Well, I think we were missing it in the permit. It sounds like the village has now every permit that comes in, they actually measure the footprint that is submitted to them, and they make sure it's in. I don't know how and why we lost conformance with it, you know, and I don't know, you know, just so everybody's aware, the Meridian one is the one that they must have caught it late or something, and it was put in the covenants that they could violate the 40%.
So I thought our ordinances trump covenants. I know they.
Well, they do, but I mean, you had, I'm guessing they weren't gonna make all these people people knock the garages down and rebuild their houses.
Right,
So I think that's, I don't know the history, some people are, but clearly, you know, those homes are not in the 40%,
so should we have, maybe not here,
you know.
because this is very specific section that we're repealing and changing, but somewhere else in this ordinance, do we want to say people are grandfathered, or, you know, residents are grandfathered at this, from this date on, but then like Sonia was saying, that, you know, if you're gonna rebuild because of fire or whatever the case might be, you're building in the same footprint or less. If you're out of code, I mean, do we want some
I
sort of
don't know
language
if you
in
need
there?
to say that, or that's state law.
I don't know.
I mean, I think, I'm not sure why we did not enforce our zoning,
Right.
but that's on us.
That is on.
That's on us. I don't know if you need to put something in the zoning that says you should enforce the zone.
No, but what I
You know what I mean?
I know. I guess what I'm trying to get to
Yeah,
is to put residents' mind at ease that we're not gonna come back at them, you know, in April and say, you're out of code, you need, we're not going to,
No.
right? But, have some sort of language that protects them, protects the homeowners today, and just, and says, here's what future state is. I don't know the answer. I'm just kind of throwing it out there and
you know,
brainstorming.
if we were reducing, I think that's more important, but we're actually making it more generous.
Right.
So we're actually bringing most
Well, I understand that.
into conformance. So I'm trying to figure out if there's a need. If we were going the opposite way, I would agree with you. If we were going from 50 to 40, then I think to protect people, we should have this grandfather clause. But we're actually going from smaller to larger to bring people in.
But we're still gonna have people out of conformance, right?
Well, there are probably some, but not nearly as many as we have right now.
Of course.
I think a lot of the 3-car garages, I didn't go up to measure people's garages in their stoops, but from eyeballing it, I thought a lot of them would clearly be in that 50.
Okay, all right. I mean, I just wanted to.
No, I think it's a good point. I think I can bring that up to Paul and see if there's a value
Right.
and how that's done. I'm not sure if sometimes you can even do that, but state statutes sometimes are a little picky on what you can do. Judy?
Sonia, I remember this conversation before, but did you say, what is other towns around us that are more normal? Is 50% kind of normal?
Cross Plains is actually unique in having a standard at all, at least for Dane County communities, so we didn't find one that specifically regulated that 40% in Dane County. The Vanderwall model ordinances that we use in other communities does have the standard. So for example, City of Wausau, 50%. Jefferson and Fort Atkinson has one that's similar in Jefferson County. I think they're at 50%.
I'm having a problem with 50 just because I feel like it is too big. I feel like it's too much.
But you know, a lot of counties have nothing.
Right, I know, and I don't, and I know when you think nobody's gonna do it, I think everyone's gonna do it. No, I don't know.
Well, I can just tell you this, if we hold to our 40%, there's probably no one that's gonna be able to build a 3-car garage. Because,
He wants them to talk to the pictures, right?
Yeah.
I thought that helped me a lot, because I was looking for, like, goes, this house has a 3-car garage and it's 50%. I was like, that looks like a normal, nice house, and I would want people in the village to be able to build that. If, you know, they could. So, yeah, I think going up to 50 years.
In the last packet, you're saying?
Yeah.
I'm just being honest, it seems like a lot of new homes, they try to go to 3-car garages. I mean, if you look from my house to Walkenburg all the way down through side, even St. Francis, there's a lot of 3-car garages.
At the same time, a lot of developments, the lots are getting narrow.
Yeah, and that's why I think we gotta be, I don't think it's fair because, I mean, I think it's good that we're making smaller lots, right? The idea is the house is gonna cost less. We get a different, you know, people that don't make as much money can afford it, right? But they should be able to have a 2-car garage that you can actually open the doors, pull it. And the problem is that at our 40%, because the lots are so narrow, you can't achieve that. You have to go 18 feet, which is pretty small. I mean, you're not able to really open doors very well. So I think it's more of an equity thing for the smaller ones. Now, if you're not comfortable with that and the bigger ones, and you know, like I say, I'm not gonna fight tooth and nail for that, but I do believe, because I'm a firm believer in smaller lots, higher, you know. But then again, I don't think we should punish people that they can't have a basic standard two-car garage. Seth,
So what's the largest, what's the zoning for the proposed subdivisions? We don't, even that's not any of the custom farms, right?
I have no idea.
We haven't received any zoning. We haven't
Well,
gotten to
for
that
based on
point.
just what we see from preliminary plat and stuff. But even that was. large.
No, I don't, no, those are clearly not SR.
No.
They're not.
I'm just saying, what's likely to have any lots?
I would think, I would be opposed to anything like that. I think for municipality to have SR1 is just way overboard. That's one house per acre. That's not good land use. In the village, we're crunched between the creeks and the bluffs. I would not think that would be something that the community would appreciate. Judy?
What do we, I want to say Garth, what's the one on shelves? What is theirs at right now? Do we hold them? Do we hold them to 40%? All the folks have done it. All of them are getting lower than 40%.
Yeah, but they're bigger.
They're
lots.
bigger lots though.
They're not, you know, we made narrower lots and free crossing. That's where it all came. See, to me, someone who lives in Scenic Valley can have a nice two-car garage. Someone who lives in Creek Crossing, I don't think that's fair. That's just where I'm coming from on it. And I think when you do smaller lots, you're benefiting one way, and one of maybe the negatives is you lose that 10% for the garage. I don't see that as a huge loss, considering what we've allowed already. And I don't think if you go through Laufenburg, like Creek Crossing and St. Francis, you drive to, oh man, that's all garage. I think they're balanced. Anything else?
I did see a picture, someone had a 5-car garage and a 1-bedroom, 1-bath house.
No, that could have been the 50%.
No.
Yeah. All right, any other discussion on this? So we'll be, this would be again, just a recommendation to the board.
So,
No, we haven't,
No.
but that, I just want to make, I'm just setting the stage, so we don't have amendments, you know.
right, so I'll make a motion that we move ordinance number 2022-03 to repeal and recreate section 8465 G4A and 8465 G4B to the village cross plans code ordinances to the village board.
Of the 50%.
Which is actually what in here, it says in here, attached garage is 50%.
Okay.
Yep.
Do I have a second? All right, any more discussion? All right, let's do a roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Garcia,
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson,
Yes.
Commissioner Bjorklund.
Yes.
Bjorklund. Trustee Brochus.
Yes.
Trustee Kettlebeater,
No.
President Langfeld.
Yes. Motion carries. All right, number 4 is not ready, so we'll have a motion to postpone it to the March meeting.
So,
Do I have a second?
Second,
Any discussion? All right, all in favor, say aye. All opposed, same. Carries. Do I have a motion for adjournment?
wow,
Ah,
I need to adjourn the meeting.
I will second that.
all right, all in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, same. Thank you very much. Good meeting.